everybody, it's Topwater Johnny, and the Googan squads got their own topwater lure. Say what? In this video, we'll be reviewing the Googan squad's revolver. Let's go. Whoa, there we go. Yeah! Woo, holy cow, folks. Topwater Johnny here, man. This is what we came here for. Look at that. Get back here. Look at that right there. That's the kind of beast that we came here for. There we go. Woo! And that one hooked. Hey everybody, Topwater Johnny here. And in this video, as you saw, we're going to do a review of the topwater lure by the Googan squad called a revolver. So we're going to jump out on the water right now and do some testing. Then we're going to come back here into the office. I'll do a closer look and review of it. And then I'll give you my final thoughts on the Googan squad revolver. Is it worth it? Is it a gimmick? Or does it make a lot of sense? So let's go ahead and get started right now. All right, so here it is again, the revolver by Googan. And we're going to just throw it out and see how it handles and do some more testing on it. So let's go. Okay, I'm going to throw it out now. Like I said before, it's a big lure. And let it sit. And then start bringing it in. As you can hear, it definitely makes that plopping noise. And I'm going to give you guys a closer look at this thing working. All right. As you can see, when you throw it out there, let's see here. Throw it out here. Literally, the whole body is twisting while you are reeling it. So do it again here. You can hear that plopper noise on it. And that's good though. It has a really good sound to it here. So yep, definitely really good sound and really good noise when you're actually casting it out and reeling it back in again. All right, throw it out again. Like I said, big lure. So definitely got to be aware of that. Definitely want to have it on braid. Definitely want to be 30 pounds and up because this is a big lure. Preferably, you're going to be doing this in open water. And because it has that plopping noise, if you can hear, it will call those fish in. Yep. It's got that plopping noise to it. One more time here. All right. So there you go, guys. There was our test of the Googan revolver. So what we're gonna do now is head back to the office and then I'll give you my final thoughts on it. But there you go. All right. Okay, everybody, want to welcome back to the studio here. So you had a chance to see the revolver in action on the water, and it definitely does make that plopping noise that we have gotten used to with the whopper plopper. So I'm very pleased about the sound of it and just how it moves on the water. So I'm very pleased with that. But what I want to do right now is I want us to go ahead and do a much closer look at this lure so that you can get the real nuances of it. So let's go ahead and do our closer look right now. All right, everybody, here's our closer look at the Googan squad's revolver. It is actually a topwater lure, 4.5 inches long, weighs a half an ounce here. The price is $13 at Dick's Sporting Goods. And what they've done here is they've got big stout treble hooks on this lure, as you can see right here. They've actually put on here a actual fin tail in the back, so it has more of a fin tail shape in the back. No rattles inside of it, but it does have its centerpiece here, which is the actual rotating part, and this is where the plopping noise actually comes from on the actual lure itself. I ended up getting this version right here because this is actually what the bass will see, the white with that little bit of red in the front of it there, so that they can key on that as well. And their position on this lure is simply that by having the plopping noise more in the center, that the bass, when they strike, they'll be more keen to strike the center of the lure versus the back of the lure. But since they're striking more of the center of the lure, these big hooks in the back will have a better chance of hooking the bass and locking them down. So that's what their position is on the Revolver. So there's your closer look. All right. Okay, we're back from our closer look, and my apologies. It is Revolver, not Revolter. I don't know why I was saying Revolver Revolter versus Revolver, but it's Revolver. That's the actual correct pronunciation of it. So in the review, I was kind of messing that up a little bit. So my apologies for that. But looking at this lure, as you saw from the video, and as you saw from the closer look, this lure is in that whopper plopper category. So if you're going to be fishing this lure, let's just talk about it here. If you're going to fish this type of lure right here, this one right here would be on braid, definitely. I would have minimum 30-pound braid. That would be on a 7-foot rod or 6'6" rod, but it would definitely be medium heavy, because you need to control this rod, this particular lure right here, because it is a big lure, and I could see why you could get broken off on this kind of lure right here, because you'd have, the line would be too light, the rod would be too thin, and I could see how it could break. So definitely when you fish this, 30-pound braid, medium heavy rod, something that can handle the load on this type of particular lure. And also, what I want you to think about this lure here, as someone that fishes topwater all the time, there are things about this lure that I definitely praise the Googan squad for. Definitely is that what an innovative idea to put the actual plopper noise right here instead of in the back, because the focus is when the plopper noise is in the back, the bass tend to short strike or come up from behind and attack from the back and strike at it. Well, a lot of bass, I guess you could say, I've not seen too many bass come head on at a whopper plopper. I've always seen them come from the back, and I guess what this is supposed to do is to create a target for them to come sideways in on the lure, to hit it near the front, which would allow these two big treble hooks to play and definitely be able to hook them. So I think that's where they're really trying to make this work. Also, with a whopper plopper, their stabilizer really is this fin in the back here. So it's this whole piece is to stabilize this lure while it's going across the water and kind of try to keep it stable and buoyant. So I get definitely where the design concept and idea comes from. And I'm saying, wow, that's really clever. Now, I want everyone to notice something about this lure. I mentioned the context of big lure. So it's important that you have context here to understand what I mean by big lure. This right here is a whopper plopper 90 that you see below. And this is the Revolver. Now the 90, as you can see, there's a noticeable size difference here. This is a 90, and this is the Revolver right here. The Revolver is thicker and bigger than the 90. Now I'm not sure about the 110 because I don't own the 110, but I will tell you this. This lure to me, and this is just my opinion, but this lure is a bit too big. I would have wanted to see this lure more in the 90 size version when you first drop a topwater lure like this, because this right here to me will create more success for fishermen. The smaller the lure is, the more bass that will key on it. Now this one definitely will target big bass, but I think if they would have made it just a little bit smaller, it would have allowed more strikes on this lure right here as people get used to the plopper being in the center here. So that's the one area. Also, when you're reeling this lure in, the lure is supposed to stay stable just like this as it comes across the water, but mine was legitimately twisting around and around at times. So if I didn't reel it correctly, or if I didn't do something correct, it would actually twist up. And that was also a concern of mine as well, when I was doing my testing, because it should have just come in straight and clean, but the whole lure was actually turning, twisting, and spinning. And that was another concern that I had about the lure. Now, in regards to legit or not, the Googan squad have created definitely a legit top water lure that will get bit. The question is, where will it get bit? You know, like I said before, if you're fishing ponds and you're fishing smaller bodies of water, then this lure might be a bit too big. You might want to have a smaller version. That's what I would have told them. If I was in the room with the Googan squad, I'd have said, create a smaller version first, then scale up to a bigger version, like the Whopper Plopper. The Whopper Plopper started with a 90, then they went up to 110, and they got bigger, but then they also got smaller. But they started at a very conservative spot where people could have a lot of success initially with the lure. So that's the one thing that I would have said to them in the room if I was helping them design this lure. But other than those two things there, like I said before, a little too big, and it does twist a bit because of where the actual plopping noise comes from. Those are probably the only two modifications I would have made to this lure. But this lure, for the investment, is worth it for the investment, and it is a legit top water lure. So those are my thoughts about it. I'd love to get you guys' thoughts and feelings about the lure. Have you bought the lure? Have you tried to fish the lure? What's your view on it? Please leave a comment below. For those that are fans of the Googans, definitely, I'm still a fan of the Googans. I'm not here to bash them, but I am here to look at something that I do all the time. All I do is top water, so I definitely have developed a keen eye to what makes top water lures really work. And so, would love to get you guys' thoughts as well. Once again, please like and subscribe to the channel. Please hit the bell notification, but more importantly, hit the like button, letting people know that you like what you're watching over here. Please share this with others. And I just want to thank each and every one of you guys for subscribing to the channel. It's getting a lot warmer here. The pre-spawn is beginning down here in Florida. So I'm looking forward to sharing with you my top 5 top water lures for pre-spawn, but then also doing some pre-spawn bass fishing as well. So I'll be rolling those videos out really soon as well. So once again, this is Top Water Johnny saying that phrase. Keep your line tight, because when they hit those top water lures, it's going to be a big bite. I'll see you in the next video.